What is up, guys? So this is going to be my trailer breakdown for Supergirl Season 3 Episode 11, titled For Rozz. But before the trailer and before the trailer breakdown, I want to talk about Mon-el's new costume. So on 3 days ago, the CW released their trailer for the mid-season of their entire channel. Nothing in the actual trailer is canon. Like, none of the clips are from any of the shows. It's like promotional material that they made specifically for this trailer. But the costume that Mon-el wears here is gonna be his costume this season, and this is our first look at it. I've complained this season of Supergirl that the Legion looks really bland. Their costumes are dark and bland and boring, but here with Mon-el's new costume, my hopes for the Legion have just got up so high. Like, I was a little disappointed by the costumes, and I was thinking, yeah, they probably messed up the Legion with how boring they are, or at least their costumes. But here, my hopes for the rest of the Legion, hopefully the rest of the Legion also get new costumes, more comic book accurate, colorful costumes, and they can do the Legion really well. The thing I like the most about this costume is not that it's comic book accurate, but that's one of the things. It is very comic book accurate. It's red and blue, and it has a blue cape. But the thing I like most about this costume is that it looks great. It actually looks really good. You see the lines, the blue lines on the pants. That looks really great. I think the cape, the way it's attached to the costume, just like the Superman one, I really like that. And the color scheme just looks really great. I really like this costume. Like I said, I was super disappointed with how Mon-el's costume turned out in episode 10, when they released a poster. I don't know why they released a poster for that costume. I don't know why they would do that. It's just, they just confused everyone. But like I said, I was very disappointed by that, and I was saying that if they don't give him a red and blue costume like this one, that will be a big, huge missed opportunity. And also give like a red and white costume to Saturn Girl, and also when Cosmic Boy and Lightning Lad and all those characters appear, give them comic book colorful costumes. And it looks like they're actually doing that. At least for Mon-el, they made a red and blue comic book accurate, really, really cool costume. So yeah, I just love this costume, and let me know what you thought about the costume in the comments down below. And let's get into the trailer breakdown for Supergirl Season 3, Episode 11, titled For Rozz. But before the breakdown, let's watch the trailer.
There is something in you that sees what you're doing is wrong. That sees the pain you're causing and regrets it. You don't have to be my enemy. You want justice in the world, so do I, but we're not going to find it by attacking each other. That's where you're wrong.
Supergirl, all new episode Monday at 8, 7 Central on the CW.
So this episode is not as exciting as the previous episode. The previous episode being episode 10, Legion of Superheroes. That was exciting because it's the Legion of Superheroes. This one, not so much, for multiple reasons. First of all, whenever one of these shows does an all-girl squad, it never works out well. It can be fine, like they can do it well, but whenever they do, specifically the one I remember very not fondly is Girls Night Out on The Flash Season 4. They did an all-girls thing, and every 3 minutes they said something like #feminists or we don't need men or something like that, and it's just cringy as hell, and it's terrible. I'm hoping the Supergirl doesn't do the same thing. Supergirl itself did that in Season 1 and also kinda in Season 2. I'm pretty surprised they haven't done it, like, barely. They barely did that #feminist thing in Season 3. Season 3 is honestly really good so far, so hopefully to continue that trend by not doing that, not making this all-girl squad terrible as it usually is. But at the same time, it also might be bad even without that #feminist thing, because the team isn't all that interesting, and it might be even bad because you have a Livewire on the team, and Livewire, for me at least, is one of the worst villains I've ever seen on anything, or at least in the Arrowverse, one of the worst villains, and I hate her so much. I'm glad that she barely ever shows up, but when she does, the episodes that she's in, she just makes them worse. So the fact that she's on this team isn't exactly a good thing at all. Hopefully she dies in this episode, because she can't really keep on coming back for one episode every season. That's just, they're not gonna. She might die in this episode. That's possible. Another member on this team is Sai, and while she's not nearly as bad as a villain as Livewire, her powers are interesting with the whole fear-inducing thing, just like Scarecrow. But she's not as bad as Livewire, but she's still a pretty boring villain. And also, her powers are a complete copy of Scarecrow. While being pretty interesting powers, it's a complete copy of Scarecrow. The other two members of the team are Saturn Girl and Supergirl. I don't know why this is a full female team. Hopefully they explain that. Or maybe they just say that no male superhero or villain can join them. Like, Mon-el's and Brainiac 5 are busy. Martian Manhunter's busy. Everyone's busy. Guardian's busy. So they can only find these 4 people, and they need specifically these powers. Maybe it's something like that. But what I'm hoping for in this episode is that they explain why it's an all-girl squad. But I'm also hoping that we see a lot of Saturn Girl, because we've seen her use her powers twice in the same fight, and she threw some weights at Rain, and she protected Mon-el with the force field. So hopefully we see more of her powers, because so far we've barely seen any of them, and hopefully they flesh out her character more in this episode. In episode 10, Rain was told that there are other versions of herself, more specifically other Worldkillers, and I thought that meant that there are just more versions of herself that will probably look slightly different but will have the same costume. That's what I expected. But I saw a comment that said that in the comics there is a team called the Worldkillers, and Rain is the leader of this, and I didn't know this till now. I probably should have looked it up. I probably should have researched it a little bit. My bad. But there are a team, and there are 5 Worldkillers, being Rain, Daymax, Flower of Heaven, Perilous, and Worldkiller 1. So that's probably what they're doing on Supergirl right now. With Rain being told that there are more Worldkillers, she's probably going to go look for these other Worldkillers. And actually, here in the trailer, we might have seen one of them being Perilous, because Perilous kind of has like a lizard face, and here in the episode, in the trailer, I mean, you can see somebody with an alien that looks like he has scales, so he's kind of like a lizard. That might possibly be, or it might be a she, we don't even know, because in the comics all the Rains are female, so it's possible that this is a female and this is their version of Perilous. It doesn't really look that much like Perilous, but it's similar enough because they're both reptiles, basically. Just to clarify, I said all the Worldkillers are female. That's not actually true. One of them is male, being Worldkiller 1, but he's actually not a part of the part of the Worldkillers anymore. It says he's a former member, so technically I was right. All the Worldkillers are female, but this one, Worldkiller 1, is not. He's male, but that's besides the point. I still think that this lizard person might be Perilous. But then again, the synopsis might tell us who this guy actually is. It might not be Perilous. It might be somebody completely different. It might be, and I'm going to read the synopsis real quick right now just to get it out of the way. And the synopsis reads, as Rain continues to terrorize the city, Supergirl teams up with Saturn Girl and the two recruit Supergirl's former enemies, Livewire and Sai, to form a team for a mission for Rozz to recover a prisoner who has information on how to defeat Rain once and for all. Meanwhile, Alex babysits Ruby. So you see earlier in the synopsis that it says they're going to recover a prisoner who has information on how to defeat Rain. And here you see in this trailer this lizard guy who might be Perilous, or lizard person who might be Perilous, or it might be someone else. You see that he is knocked out and he might be in Fort Rozz. We don't know that for sure, but it's very possible that this guy is in Fort Rozz. So this might be the person that this all-girl squad is going to recover. Now, he or she might actually be both that person and Perilous, because Perilous is a Worldkiller. Because of that, she might have some information on how to defeat Rain. So that's also possible, but it could either be Perilous, this prisoner guy, or both. I'm guessing it's going to be not Perilous and a prisoner guy, and I'm guessing that they're not gonna show us any of the Worldkillers until later in the season, like not that much later, but not in this episode. But it's very possible that they're going to show us or at least the first Worldkiller, with the second one after Rain in this episode. But anyway, let me know what you thought about the trailer in the comments down below, and let me know what you thought about the Mon-el costume in the comments down below, and whether or not you think that this lizard person is Perilous. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.